off managerial stakes again. We've mixed up the panel again tonight. We've got Jordan on. Jordan, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, feel good, feel fresh. Let's go.
Let's do it. Holly is back on. How you doing, Holly?
Yep, good. Been looking forward to the show and looking forward to football being back at the weekend too.
Good. And bringing Jay back. I've not spoke to Jay for a while to bring his views on the current managerial situation. Jay, good week for you, mate. Looking forward to the weekend.
Watching United play? Hell no. It's going to ruin my weekend. God. No, well, I'm joking. Of course I want to see him play.
Yeah, that's the one. Guys, we're talking managerial situations again. The merry-go-round is going round and round and round. And to be honest, I don't think there's many United fans who know where they stand with what's going on at the football club at the moment. But we're going to dissect what's happened over the last couple of days as well and get everyone's opinions on that. And guys, get your comments in as well on anything that we talk about and bring up your views on it. Do you agree with us? We brought on different voices tonight. Jay's not had much of a say on the managerial situation. I'm going to start with you, Jay, mate. Obviously, Pochettino has been rumoured to have been interviewed by United earlier on this week, and I don't think there's many United fans out there who are too keen on him even being interviewed. But how are we doing Poch a bad one here? Are we not giving him enough? Are we fair in our critique in terms of we don't really need Pochettino for where we're at as a football club right now? Where do you stand on Pochettino and all of this, Jay? Is he? I mean, we're all going to support whoever comes in, but well, we've still got the chance. Where are you at with it all, mate?
Adam, the last time I was on, we discussed Poch in great detail, and we went through his record with Spurs, and we all agreed that he had won nothing with Spurs. He had won the equivalent of the French Charity Shield and the French Cup, and we all said that his record against the top six in England had been abysmal. His win rate with Spurs 54%, but I think I was awful unfair to him because I went through his Wikipedia before I came on, and prior to being appointed by Southampton, he actually did win the Catalonia Cup back in 2010 and 2011. So I think we got to give him full credit for that. That's a major tournament to live in Catalonia. So I think I've been very disingenuous towards Poch. We are getting a tried and tested manager that's won the Cup of Catalonia, has managed Southampton, and even managed to win absolutely fuck all with Spurs. So definitely interview him by all means, you know?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Holly, on Pochettino, I think we all know the basics are any manager coming is going to struggle at first, but we've all talked about Pochettino as a manager that probably won't get as much leeway with the fan base at the moment. I think you were on that as well. I mean, no one's really slaughtering Pochettino for what he is as a manager and what he can do as a coach. I know he's got his qualities. It's just the fact that there is what everyone can see is a better quality of manager available ahead of him. And I think that's where all United fans are at the moment. When there's no option, it's a bit easier to take, but there's options, Holly. And I think this is the whole argument with all the fan base at the moment. It's like, I just don't see why you're even looking at him when there is a better option, not too far away, and would probably be cheaper.
Yeah, the idea of Poch coming in is, I mean, it wouldn't be bad. Like, we were all kind of leaning that way in November last year when Ollie was in the job. Like, I would have given it to my next door neighbour if I had a choice in regards to keeping Ollie in a job last November. So in particularly saying, I would have given it to Poch. And I know a lot of people are like, well, you would have been happy to give it to Poch in November, but we all would have been because we were in such a dark place with Ollie. I would have also given it to Brendan Rodgers in November. I would have given it to anyone at that point. But at the moment, Poch is a bit of a lose-lose situation here because, especially for United, because the fans don't want him. And he's not really what United need at the moment. I don't think that he'll come in and shake things up like someone like Ten Hag would. And also, you'd get the protests and whatnot from the fans as well. So and he's harder to get than Ten Hag. He's less available than Ten Hag is. So it baffles me why he's so far in the running as well. The only thing that is pushing me towards him getting the job is obviously all the voices of the ex-players and stuff and the media. And I seen Gary Neville on Twitter in an interview said that he worked with Poch for 5 days or something when he was at Tottenham. I'm sure if you went and worked with Ten Hag for 5 days, you'd feel the same about Ten Hag. If not, you'd feel stronger. So that's the only thing that's making me think that United will go for Poch is the voices from the ex-players. And we know that United listen to them. We know that United hold their opinion in high regard.
And that's it. I mean, Jordan, me and Beth were talking about this on Tuesday, actually, about the player power and the ex-pros, the pundits, mainly the United ones, who are all in the Poch camp. I mean, I think you had a shout on this not too long ago on a previous show, Jordan, but they do seem to have a bit of sway when it comes to these decisions, especially in convincing a lot of the fan base as well. But this time it's quite clear we're not falling for it, mate. But where do you stand? It's like Rio Ferdinand, Gary Neville, Mark Hughes, Nicky Butt. There's plenty of them that have all had their say, but I don't see one United fan being convinced by it. I mean, Beth talked about the lazy sort of research that some of these pundits put in. It's like Holly just said there, John. Did he even watch what other managers do in other leagues? Because without Premier League proven pedigree, if you could call it pedigree, then apparently to these ex-pros, they're not the right man at all, Jordan.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like it's just a lazy opinion.
Yeah.
We know Poch. Let's just go with Poch. We know we can pick up the phone to Poch and speak to him, and he'll give us the information, and we can have that relationship. And a lot of people, go on about the Poch thing. I, for one, I don't respect the what's the word? The trashing of Poch. I think you have to put it into perspective. He is a good manager. He just isn't the manager we want. And that's what it's about. It's about options and timing. 6 months ago, like Holly said, when we were looking to get Ollie out, we all would have took Poch because at that time, he was the best option. 18 months ago, when we were looking to get Ollie out then, Poch was an option. He was available. He hadn't gone to PSG. But now, because he's gone to PSG and the way things have turned out, we just don't feel he is the right option. I also feel like when I say it's an easy option to just say choose Poch, I also think it's sometimes a bandwagon option for people who are jumping on the Ten Hag thing and they actually don't really understand who Ten Hag is, what type of football he plays, and so on and so forth. And they should actually have a look into what he's actually going to bring to the club, because I actually feel like they would actually really want him rather than to just go with the majority. Because you look at these votes and they were starting off and it was sort of 60-40 in Ten Hag's favour, 70-30 in Ten Hag's favour. You look at what the guys did today and it was like 80-18 or something. Suddenly people are just fully swaying towards Ten Hag, but they probably don't really understand exactly what he's going to bring. I do feel like it is down to what is available. Like Holly was saying, there's plenty other options available. I mean, I, for one, looking at Enrique's CV, me and my friends were looking at what he'd won at Barcelona, because they were going on something about, he didn't win many in Champions Leagues. Well, I was at a time when Real Madrid won 3 on the bounce. But if you look at the other trophies that he won domestically against a very good Real Madrid side, Enrique performed miracles with that team. So for me, I don't know what your guys' opinions are. If we couldn't get the Ten Hag deal and we potentially had to work with Rangnick until after the World Cup and then brought Enrique in, I'd rather wait for Enrique than over Poch now. I just, for me and the Poch thing are done. I just don't think it's right anymore.
On that, Jake, it's like the football club, United actually want to fully follow through on what they've said in this process, this so-called process of picking a manager out. There's talks that after the international break that they are going to interview, like Jordan said then, Enrique as well. Enrique, one man who's left off being appointed as Manchester United manager in the past. Yeah, it was tongue-in-cheek or whatever at the time, Jay. But this is a man we know for definite is going with Spain to the World Cup, which is mid-season, this season. Problem with Enrique is we just cannot wait, can we, Jay? It's the time that we need a manager is now. The players' performances are just dropping because they don't give a toss and don't know who's coming in. Does that automatically then, do you trust the process then if you know that manager isn't going to be coming in for at least another year?
Okay, Adam, there's a lot there to dissect, so I'm going to go one by one. Firstly, Jordan, you're definitely my brother from a different mother. I'm looking here at a page of notes written on Luis Enrique, an entire page. So, Jordan, you read my mind yet again, brother. Yet again, read my mind. And Adam, on previous shows, you were advocating to keep Radnick in situ, not rush into it until we actually have the research done to hire a manager. And good governance of any business would dictate that's who you go. Like, there was a knee-jerk reaction from the fan base after that night in Paris when we managed to bungle past Paris Saint-Germain. Rio Ferdinand in the studio literally having an aneurysm, get the contract, sign the contract, and all the sheep in the fan base jumped down in bandwagon. And then it was 3 years wasted. Now, if you dive deep into Ten Hag, like, okay, his win rate's impressive, 73.91%. He's won a Dutch league. He's won the Dutch Cup, fantastic. And he was 4th in the FIFA Coach of the Year. Now, I know Mark has said in many shows that, this issue of being tried and tested Premiership, because the vast majority of managers that won Premier Leagues weren't tried and tested Premier League. So that one I don't agree to. But I do agree right now that Ten Hag with the fan base, he is the flavour of the month. And people, I think, I'm saying they haven't done a research. Luis Enrique, I saw him play for Barcelona many times when I lived there, played number 21. He, Olympic gold medalist 992. He was just 50 years old. His win rate with Spain, his first tenure, was 6 wins out of 8. His present win rate with Spain is 53%. Now, guys, you're going to love this. Barcelona manager, Adam, as you said, during the pomp of Real, when Real were considered the best club in the world, 2014, 2017, win rate, 76% win rate. And in that period of time as well, he won absolutely everything worth winning in football. European Coach of the Year, FIFA Coach of the Year, World Soccer Manager of the Year, and he won that famous triple in 2014, 2015. So he's the only manager in world football, if my research is correct, that has won a triple, a real triple, worth winning since Ferguson. So I would have no issue with Ralph fit you until next December, and then January the 1st. Hola, Luis Enrique, está aquí. It's time to win.
Yeah.
No problem. Seriously, guys, we're not going to win a title next year, Jordan and Holly and Adam. We're not. So build with Enrique.
Definitely not. I think it's like, do we trust United in what they're saying with this process? We can see, and like I said, I said a while ago, I'd rather Ralph stay in charge than Pochettino come in as one of them quick fixes.
100%.
I'd rather see that. Problem I'm seeing now is the club have gone so far with this process and made it quite clear, and the players have picked up on this as well. Holly, I'll bring you in on this one. It's like the players have just, for me, a lot of them have down tools, absolutely down tools, because they're literally waiting out to see what or who the next manager is. And that's the problem now. This so-called process has been made clear to absolutely everybody because everything leaks out with United. We know step by step what's happening. Now, the players know that Ralph isn't going to stay in charge. So why would they then get behind him? And it's showing on the pitch. I think all of us would be happy with Enrique. I don't think, like Jay just said there, and Jordan's bigged it up as well, Holly, he's a quality manager. And you know what? He would demand respect as well, looking at what he's done in these bigger clubs and these big outfits with big name players as well. The problem is the club have made it practically impossible, Holly, from what I can see. I don't know what you think about the way we've sort of done this process and made it clear to everyone. It's sort of left everyone in the know about what's going on, including players and staff.
But regardless of the situation at the club, the players, I don't agree with them down in tools whatsoever.
But they have, haven't they?
They have, but there is a reason to go out and there's a reason to give 110% out at every game, and that is because of the 75 or so fans, 75,000 fans that are sat around watching you, and however many at home that are waking up at 6 a.m. in the morning to turn the match on at 4 a.m. in the morning. That's the reason why you should never down your tools. So the ones that do give up against the likes of Man City and Liverpool and stuff, they shouldn't be at the club. They really shouldn't. I get that it's frustrating. But even as fans, we are fuming at the club, and we always are. Does that mean that we won't watch a game? Does that mean that I won't drive up 3.5 hours on a Saturday to watch my football team? No, it doesn't. Like, you're there through the thick and the thin when you support a football team, especially in the bad times and in the good. Because if you're there during the bad, then you get to reap the good times. I never agree with them down in tools. I can see why they would, but I never agree agree with it because of us fans and the support that we show them. They should show us the same heart back, but they just don't. So I don't agree with that, but it must be disheartening in working in the club at the minute, not kind of knowing what direction they're going to go in. The club, I don't think the club have any clue what manager they're going to get. I put a tweet out the other day saying that, as fans, it would be nice to see United make their decision like fairly quickly in order to get some plans together towards the summer. And there was a lot of people replying to it saying the club know who they want. The club have got their man. Ajax just don't want Ten Hag to they don't want the noise of Ten Hag leaving to dishearten their players. And I do get that. That probably would be a good idea. But it's not like our club won't leak information. When have we ever kept a secret in that club? We would know about it. 100% we would know about it.
This is it. It's like Jordan, isn't it? It's like all of a sudden on Sky last night when I'm watching, I've seen that yellow bar come up. United have looked into, what's that famous word again? Worded out what the compensation. Just ask. Say, just ask. Never mind. Let's find out behind the scenes. Just ask. Be a professional. Jordan, it's just like Holly said, everything comes out before we want it to, and everyone knows, and everyone can sort of make their own opinions.
Yeah.
And with
quickly,
them saying, sorry, Jordan, go on.
I'm just going to say, Beth is at home, and Beth clearly wants beef. She's in the comments calling me out. Ryan O'Dorsey, get me on a show with her so we can talk about the fact that she wanted Ollie and said we were going to win the title with Ollie this season, so I can actually put her to the sword instead of her doing it in the comments. So sorry about that, guys. I just keep seeing she keeps calling me out for no reason. It's mad. We are going to know. We are going to know what's happened. Just back to Jay's point on the Enrique thing about waiting. And I know some people were saying when he said about that was, that's another season wrote off. Well, I think the difference is that because it is international football, he's not tied to a club week in, week out. So there isn't a reason why something couldn't be agreed for him to sort of assist, or there be communication between the club and him.
Does it cause a problem with the World Cup being mid-season, though?
It does, but, a World Cup tournament or an offer of a contract for 4 years after that World Cup, where he's clearly saying that, he isn't gonna stay on. I think the noise over the last week, 10 days, he's definitely showing his hand a bit more that he is interested. Whereas before, when he was asked, he laughed it off. He's not laughing anymore. So, there's no smoke without fire. I think there is a chance.
Well, Jade, there's always a chance. If United actually go out and act like a big club and approach a manager and say, look, this is our vision. What's your idea of this? Can you give us your input? Actually, Go interview him and actually come across like a professional club instead of just going around the houses like we are doing at the moment. I mean, the rumours are that we're expecting the announcement to be made at the end of April. I mean, geez, talk about cutting it fine.
Okay, right now, to put in context, he's in a Dutch league title race. He's only 2 points clear of the top. So there's no way in the world Ajax are going to allow him or United to announce him any time between now and May. They're in a title race. And you can say what you want about Dutch football, but a title is a title. And out of respect to his fan base, out of respect to Edwin van der Sar and his employers, he's not going to nail his tail to the mast, is he? No, of course not. So I think you're going to be in for a long social media drip from the club. Like this week, we saw they drop the bomb about stealing for Declan Rice, to drop the bomb about Bruno getting the new contract, blah blah blah. Like a Ten Hag or a Luis Enrique might come in. They might even want a Bruno or Declan Rice. So if it's me and on the club, I would be doing due diligence, because this managerial appointment is literally going to be a tipping point of what happens in the club for the next 10 years. And I think fans need to put it all in context here. Because, right now, as I said at the start, Ten Hag is the flavour of the week, and we have a lot of sheep in the fan base. We see from social media. People grab onto a tweet or from Neville or Carragher or even us to grab onto our tweets, and they run with it. But people need to step back and see the bigger picture here. The managerial appointment sets the stall, and repeat myself, for the next 10 years. And next May, we are 10 years without winning a title. And none of us sitting around here wanted to be 20. Like, there's a big gap between 1967 and 1993 when Robson and Bruce finally lifted it. But prior to that, it was Bobby Charlton lifting the title. So do you want to win another 10 years? I certainly don't. So I know it's disingenuous to call next season a run. We all agree here, and we'll ask everyone in the fan base, you bring in Ten Hag. Do you honestly believe we're going to win a title next May? How we hell? But
no, I think the process, I do agree on that. Yeah, exactly
So,
that. You have to. You need time. You need patience with it. On that, Jay, quickly. I mean, how would you approach it now? How would you, as a United fan, what would be your ideal scenario now in terms of the manager?
Ideal scenario is Ralph is allowed have his clear out, and as Holly said, players down in tools. Now Ralph knows exactly who the bluffers are. He knows who he can depend on, and he knows who the limp-wristed snowflakes are in that squad. And this summer, get rid of. And that means, if it means going to the German, Austrian, French league, whatever league, and signing 5 players at 20-25 million in their early 20s that have mass potential, and then bring in the youth players, and we can see a building process and a clearly defined philosophy that sets us in situ for the next, say, 5-6 years. And then next January, you're bringing in Luis Enrique, and then let Enrique pick his players and spend the big money. And I agree what you said there as well, Adam. Yeah, it's World Cup year, but a manager could easily act in an advisory role between then and the World Cup. Of course he could. And like previously, Luis was adamant that he wasn't interested in the job. Well, now he clearly is. So I'll say the club need to do due diligence. Very simple.
Exactly that.
Jay,
Go on, Jordan.
Are you going with Enrique over Ten Hag?
1000% yes.
That's it. Guys, get your comments in on that as well. Would you take Enrique over Ten Hag? Are we throwing a spanner in the works here? Should we go in on Ten Hag, or do we wait it out a bit longer? Because like Jay said there, I think, Holly, I'll come in on this one now for you. Jay's talking about 10 years. It's gone past 5 for any trophy, Holly. And honestly, I can't see anyone but the obvious winning trophies next season either. They're just in stronger positions. The squads are stronger. We now know the 5 substitute role is coming in. We dissected our squad and lost all advantage of that. Now we're rebuilding the squad. The likes of Liverpool, City, Chelsea with these squads, it just falls into their hands. Would you wait a little bit longer on that? Because 5 years is a long time without any trophy at all. Never mind the league, like Jay said, Holly. Except that it is a big, big process. And the next manager is going to need the patience of the fan base. Would you accept not winning anything for another couple of years as long as this process was built up within the manager and he was given time?
Yeah, I would. I'd be okay with that. But I think us as fans now are so sick of what we've been seeing for the past 5 and arguably 10 years that we're always desperate as each other now, and we do want to wait. We are happy to wait. I think as long as, like you said, we could see that the club was building towards something, and not just like we've been doing for the last 5 years, just getting to semi-finals, the odd final, and losing and bottling it when it counts the most. As long as we can actually see that, yeah, we have massively improved in how we are playing and stuff, and we can't complain really as fans if we do improve in them aspects. Just need to, as long as we have hope that we are building towards something instead of just hopelessly trying to get to the end of the season every year, trying to just scrape 4th place, then I'd be happy with that. I'm at the point now where I would wait 3 or 4. Like the 3 years of Ollie went so quick; it didn't feel like 3 years. So I am happy to wait now, as long as we're building towards something.
Yeah, Jordan, on that, it's like some people said in the comments then, what, throw away another season next year? It's like these ex-United players, the ones that came in when we was flying, and they're all the ones that were in the successful period at Manchester United who haven't ever seen adversity like this at the football club before. oh, United have to be winning something. They have to be winning something. It gets into people's heads and that opinion sways, and you'll get fans that go along with that, Jordan, and say, oh, we can't just write off another season like we have this one. This is Manchester United. Well, that tag has gone, has it not, Jordan? And we need to rebuild and start again.
Yeah, I think the key is progress. And, this season, we've definitely gone, undoubtedly backwards. I think last season was an overachievement in second. We all questioned whether or not was it an overachievement.
We got the answer.
We got that answer pretty quickly. So we know where we're at. I think if a manager comes in and makes changes and you can see that there is progression across the season, we're all going to be patient and give that person time, as long as the board gives them the support to make the changes that they need to make. I think we have to also remember how much progress can be made in a season. A lot. You look, if a player signs the right players to come in, a spine of a team, that can make such a difference. 3 or 4 of the right players who are all on the same track, no negativity around them, no toxicity. They're there to deliver and want to make the step up and play for the badge. Suddenly they drag the players up around them. You look at the Shaw situation. Competition came in, he looked at it and was like, I got to raise my game. These things can happen. So it's all about the right signings. What we don't need is big-time Charlies coming into the club that feel like the club's lucky to have them. We want players that want to come in and want to prove themselves. Suddenly, in the space of a summer, you've got 4 good signings and they drag the club up.
Exactly that. On signings, Jordan, I'll start with you on this one actually quickly. I mean, a lot of people have been talking. I think it was Rio Ferdinand who said he was worried about how Pochettino or how Ten Hag, in fact, would play Bruno Fernandes. Now officially signed his new extension to his contract. Again, Rio Ferdinand's going down the player route. I mean, it's up to the manager. It's just the manager will decide if Bruno is fitting into his system going forward. I mean, I put the question out there before. Would it work better with Poch, with Bruno? Do you think it would get better from him there? Do you think Bruno would work better under Ten Hag? Do we have to change certain players when it comes to different managers coming in? Or is it a case of just give the man time, let him work out what system works? If that player does not work, then you know what? Tough. Because waiting on these big signings to save us week in, week out and do something brilliant is clearly not working, mate.
Yeah. No, Bruno's a great player, and good managers get the best out of their best players. So I have no doubt that, if Ten Hag was to come in or Enrique to come in, I'm not even discussing the Poch thing, but if one of those managers to come in, they would work with Bruno and they would get the best out of him. I couldn't believe the uproar. I've not had a chance to speak about it, but when the news of the new contract broke, how many fans were disappointed that Bruno's been offered a new contract? Like, it absolutely blows my mind. Like, I understand that he hasn't had the best of seasons, and he's been quite petulant in a lot of games and so on and so forth, but he's the least of our concerns. We've got plenty of other areas around that team that need to be addressed. For me, Bruno tries. Sometimes he tries too hard and gets things wrong, but he definitely deserves the contract. We need those good players. We've got plenty of players leaving this summer. That's not another hole that we need to have, is trying to replace somebody with the quality of Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, Jay, Bruno took Portugal to the World Cup finals, did it in the Portuguese shirt. Let's hope we see that in the United shirt. Some of his better form returning there, like memories of last season and the season before there. I mean, I think we're all happy that Bruno, if you like football, you know that Bruno's a signing that we should be making. I think the only concern I had at the time was the fact that there was no permanent manager in place, and who was deciding that Bruno should get a contract, because clearly we had no manager in. And that was where a lot of United fans probably went, hang on a minute, not so much unhappy with Bruno, but who's making these decisions? Because that's a certain way to go forward, isn't it, Jay? With no manager in charge and a player signing a new deal, it's a bit of a worry.
I think it's definitely splitting hairs on behalf of the fan base when all they've got to moan about today is Bruno signing a contract. Like, bloody hell. Fernandes, since he came in that January, he single-handedly that season held the entire team on his back. So you've got a Bruno Fernandes. Okay, this season he has been petulant. There's been a lot of frustration, but his style of play definitely suits Poch's 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 with the formation he uses, because it's possession orientated and it's quick, snappy passing for central midfield, which we don't have right now. So look, we can spend the whole show chatting about midfield, but we're not going to. It's about Bruno. Any top level elite manager, you build your team around a player like Bruno Fernandes. You definitely do. It's a no-brainer. And a top level elite manager will have the coaching nous and coaching staff to get the best Fernandes, which I don't believe we've seen thus far. And this season, I suppose, his petulance has been exasperated because I suppose Ralph has wanted him to be a bit more disciplined, and his Hollywood passes and Hollywood balls have been not very season. We know on the Solskjaer, it was just go out and play, and Bruno was freestyling. And yeah, there, but the general team playing from Bruno wasn't. You'd never question Bruno's attitude. No, God, no. So fans moaning about Bruno getting a new contract are probably the same fans that want Pogba to sign a new deal on 400k a week after 6 years of inconsistency. You know, you can't please everybody, and this fan base, it's so fractured. I laugh at how fractured it is, Adam.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Holly, we've sat there, we've heard players booed on team, and when the team's been read out before in Old Trafford, namely our captain Harry Maguire. It shows you where the fan base is into. I mean, we'll touch on that because we're sort of veering into the Leicester game towards the back end of the show now. But on the Harry Maguire sort of boos from the England fans, or certain sections of the England fans, let's get it right. Let's not castrate everyone. Let's not have a go at the whole English fan base. But there were a few that booed him. We've heard that many a times at Old Trafford, Holly. And I think the only way I can look at it is, yeah, there are always going to be numpties in the crowd. I mean, I'm not for booing. I've never booed in my life. But everyone's got an opinion. Harry Maguire's form, I think Jay's fellow countryman nailed it for me. Just do it on the pitch and the fans will turn back in your favour. Perform. Mr. Roy Keane said it best for me, Holly. I mean, just, you know what? Just get out there on the football pitch and play football and get back in form. That's all you can do, really, with the fan base. Just kill him with kindness, start showing performances again, because if he's looking, with this new manager coming in, Holly, to still be Manchester United captain, actually still be in the Manchester United team, then he's one of them players, like you said before, underperforming, not putting the right attitude in, sulking, moaning, thinking the world's on his shoulders. That needs to change, and it starts with captain, doesn't it, Holly?
Yeah. I don't really get the reception that the booing had on social media and Twitter and stuff is crazy for me. I just don't get why it's getting so much attention. Like, you've got teams coming out like Tottenham coming out saying, Harry Maguire, we stand with you. No one deserves it. It's not abuse. Yes, he got booed. Like, it happens. Like, I've had more abuse in a pub garden on a Saturday night. Like, it's not abuse. It's just you get booed. It happens in football. Everyone's had it. I don't think there's a single player in the United squad that's not been booed at once in their career. Like you said, Adam, and like Roy Keane said the other day, go out to the pitch. And to be fair, he had an all right game. Like, we'll give him that. But you need to show on the pitch that you deserve not to be booed if you're going to take it that personally. But the reception that this booing has had is embarrassing. And I just think, even coming away from the England situation, you are the captain of Manchester United, right? And they are in a dark place at the moment, and this is probably the lowest we've been as a club. You are the captain of that team. You should be the first one to take the flak for the fans' frustration out of your whole team. You don't sign up to be the captain of Man United and think this is all just going to be great, roses and sunny days. It's not going to be like that. It's not. Like, we are a demanding fan base. We know that because of the success that Man United's had in the past. But you can't expect it all to be nice and lovely and everyone loves Harry Maguire, because we will hold you accountable for the team not performing. We'll hold you accountable for yourself not performing as well, bigger than everything else. I wouldn't mind if it was just United that's performing badly, but Harry Maguire every week is going out giving 10 out of 10. He's been at fault for a lot of the goals that we've conceded this season, and we're one of the most. We've conceded some of the most goals in the Premier League at the minute, I think. So he has to be held accountable for that, and he has to take some recognition that he is the captain of this club. And if that was me, I'd be happiest to take the recognition for it, because you've got such a big role at the club.
If you're going to be sliding on your knees, clapping your ears, and wearing pink boots, you've got to be able to take getting booed. I got no sympathy for him. I can't believe the outrage afterwards. Like, it's not like it's madness. There's people, there's footballers kicking cats. There's players racially. No. Listen, there's players getting racially abused. There's a war starting on the other side of the world, and people are coming out going on about Harry getting booed. Just man up and deal with it. This is the world we live in. That's it.
That's it. I mean, Jay, you're a perfect man to look at him revving up there. I can see his shoulders pumping up and everything there. All right, let's talk snowflakes, mate, shall we, Jay?
Adam,
it's ridiculous. I think Holly nailed it there. The sheer fact that it's been put out there as much as it has is just a complete joke
embarrassing.
For me.
Look, first thing, I didn't watch the England game, and correct me, did England play in a five at the back with two holding CDMs? That's the formation.
Yeah, they did.
Okay. I'm in my 40s. I'm 6'2". I could play in that back five. I could head a ball, kick some people, do a couple of tackles. It's not brain surgery. So he played well. I don't accept that. The first problem was Southgate's post-match comments, which I did see. Southgate made more of it than he should have had. Southgate should have just brushed it off. As a couple of boos, so what? Move on. Southgate made it worse, in my personal belief. Roy Keane hit the nail on the head. Adam, I was on the show over 2.5 years ago, and I was calling out Harry Maguire way back then. I was the first one of the stand to call out Harry Maguire, and I got slated for it on social media. I referred to himself and Lindelof as a busted sofa. I've said many times he's not a leader, and we know there's different kinds of leaders. Some leaders are charismatic, bombastic, like me, and probably like Jordan. Some leaders are very unassuming and non-communicative. I can only ascertain that Maguire is the unassuming kind of leader. But a leader that's unassuming and not communicative, they lead by example. And to your point, Holly, he's not leading by example either. So what kind of a leader is Harry Maguire? If you watch his post-match interviews, his body language post-match is all off. And very often it's De Gea or Bruno or one of the other players that come to the post-match because he bloody well can't communicate. So if he can't do the basic of communicate, and just bear in mind, all these players are media trained from a very early age, how to deal with the media. So if he can't do a post-match interview, what the hell can he communicate pre-match and a half time and on the pitch? On the pitch, he literally is inaudible. So I don't get why successive managers haven't dropped him. Is it in his contract he's captain, he can't be dropped? I don't know. I'm sick of discussing Harry Maguire. I said 2 years ago that he's the rock Solskjaer perish on. He's a milestone around Solskjaer's neck. The fan base came out with this bullshit. Oh, all Harry needs is a better partner beside him. He's had Rolls Royce Varane. Adam, what did you refer to Maguire as? We said that was it Rudiger? Rudiger was a Land Rover. Was it Rudiger was a Land Rover? Royce, Varane was a Rolls Royce. What was Maguire? What's the car you used?
Oh God! Oh yeah, it was a Lada Eva. That was the one.
a Lada Eva. Yeah. So there you go. So sooner or later, a manager is going to come in with, to quote Adam's phrase, big balls, make big calls, and say to the board, listen, I can't use him. I want to play off in the back, or I want to play a 3-5-2. I want to hold a high line. I can use Harry Maguire. Get rid of him. I want him replaced. And sooner or later, a manager is going to come in and he's going to say that. And until that happens, you're stuck with Harry Maguire. You're stuck leaking goals. And last season, I wrongly called out Lindelof, not realising that Lindelof was covering for Maguire most of last season. So even beside Varane, Maguire's been shit. And that's called a spade here. So players get booed, people get criticised. If I mess up my job, my new job, my boss is going to be on my ass and criticise me. I got to take it in the chin. Jordan, if you do an abysmal set on a night, your punters are going to give you criticism. You're taking the chin and make you better, would it not?
Right. Saturday night, there's a hen party in the club I was DJing at. One of the girls comes over. She holds her phone up. I leant forward to see what it said. It said, "Can you play Taylor Swift for my hen do?" Absolutely not. They booed me for about an hour from their table, a full hour. Did I pay Taylor Swift? No, I didn't.
No.
Did it ruin my night? No, he didn't.
No.
And that carried on. So why is everyone kicking off about Harry getting booed? If he's not good enough and he's not playing well, he's not good enough and he's not playing well.
So
That's it.
George, at the end of the day, right? Winners win, fighters fight, and performers perform.
Mm-hmm.
And Maguire is neither of those three. Like, you had that part to deal with. You're performing, you still performed, and it didn't ruin your night, did it? Whereas Harry gets a couple of boos. Exactly. Yeah. So Maguire gets a couple of boos, and all of a sudden, social media has a meltdown. I'm sorry, like, what world do we live in now?
No, that's it. It was just made to be something it wasn't. Welcome to the United Stand membership. Kurt Taylor, anyone else who does want to join the United Stand as a member, just drop down in the description below on this video. All the information is there and the link is there. Just click on that, guys. Do you think, I'll bring it up to anyone on the panel, do you feel like these managers actually coming in for these interviews would ask this sort of question? Because you've got to look at it. If you're a manager out there looking at Manchester United, you can see this happening. They're not stupid. All managers do the research. They have people go out and look. When jobs come available, if they can't go, they'll send one of their entourage, one of their team out to look, and they'll wonder why themselves, like a lot of the fans, they're not stupid. Why is he continuously playing? So surely, I think, well, maybe it's prolonging this process, but they're going to want to know how much power they've got in this situation. Like Jay just said then, and Jordan, for instance, it's like, he's going to come in and want to change it. But if he's already signed that contract and then he's told that he cannot, then we've got a problem, haven't we, mate, again?
Yeah, I think this is something I said before. This is why I've got concerns about Rangnick staying on past the summer. I think from the outside looking in, you don't realise how bad the problems are until you actually step through the door. And something that, the feedback from Ten Hag's interview was when he turned around and he said, he doesn't need a lot of money. He's not looking for a lot of money to change the direction the club's going in. Again, I feel like if you're on the outside looking in and you look at the squad and you look at the players name for name, you think, oh, do you know what? We just need to get them playing right. But when you actually get in there and you realise how poor the attitude is and the value for money we've had off of certain players, you realise how big a job this is. And Rangnick has tried to implement change for as little as 5 million in January and wasn't backed, wanted to move players out and wasn't able to move them out. This is a much bigger job than a lot of these managers are actually realising.
Exactly that. And Holly, do you agree on that? I mean, it's one of them fears, isn't it, that we've all got? It's like, yes, we know what this manager can do. He is the perfect man for us. But then he's got that board to work with and the powers that be at Manchester United. And like Jordan just said then, it's the ultimate concern. It's like, we know that Ralph has been thrown under the bus by this board completely. So another manager looking in, he's going to have concerns about that.
Yeah, it's not even like that. It's not even that, the board would have thought, let's not give Ralph a player because we don't know what kind of manager direction we're going to go towards. So we'll hold off of bringing a player in, and we might not know whether they'll necessarily be in the team a year later. But Ralph is going upstairs. That's what we were. He's getting more involved in the club anyway. So it's like Ralph will be part of the future decisions anyway. So why not give this person that's going to be in the club for however, I think it was 2 years, wasn't it, that he was going to go, and he's going to go upstairs and make some more decisions and stuff. But it just baffles me why he wasn't given anything in January, because he is like supposed to be what kind of the club is going towards anyway in regards to decision making and stuff. And he's obviously part of the club's plans. Well, he's supposedly part of the club's plans in the future. So why not back him?
Exactly that. We went off kill a little bit there. We were venturing into the game this weekend, obviously the Harry Maguire talk. So football is back. Harry Maguire's getting pelters. No, not really, but it's been built up to be that way. And lo and behold, the club that pulled that, they didn't pull our pants down for Harry Maguire. They ripped them off so we couldn't put them back on and protect ourselves again with Harry Maguire. That's what happened with Leicester. Leicester roll into town. Harry Maguire's favourite football club, former football club, Jay. They've actually got a song which mirrors the song that we used to sing about Harry Maguire involving Sancho. And I just fear that I'm going to be hearing that song at weekend in the away section again, because Solskjaer put Maguire in against Leicester in the reverse fixture when we knew he shouldn't play. He was found out instantly in that game and cost us that game, in my opinion. Maguire, coming back from England form before, Jay, hasn't really made a difference. Coming back from England again this week, under the pressure that he's under, against his former club, it's one of them sink or swim sort of moments, it feels to me, with Harry Maguire and this Leicester game coming up, because they'll know where to go. They've got the fast forwards, and they have got a lineup that puts the fear of death in me when Harry Maguire is playing for us, mate.
It goes back to what I said previously, Holly, when we asked you. I said, fighters fight, winners win, performers perform. Well, if there's any fight left in Harry Maguire, what better game than to turn up and fight Harry? This is the game to turn up. Last time, and you alluded to it, I would have held him accountable for 3 of those 4 goals. We can all agree he shouldn't have been playing. He was come back from injury, but Solskjaer, as usual, shit the bed, which he did countless times. So this is Harry Maguire's opportunity. And after all this talk tonight about Harry Maguire might actually score another header from a corner on Saturday. You know, he might prove us all wrong. Who knows? But this is his chance. And Leicester, incidentally, reruns the football club. They reinvested that 80 million that they stole from us from Maguire, and they built a new training ground. That's how you develop a football club. That's a club with a vision. So look at he's under pressure, but a true elite athlete in any sport, they thrive on pressure. Pressure is your oxygen. You love pressure because you rise to it. Shall we see Saturday?
Ronaldo loves being booed, doesn't he?
Oh,
Totally.
That's it. Bruno Fernandes is the same type of character. I mean, Jordan, going into that, we've actually got a few players that had an all right international break. So going into this game, maybe upbeat a little bit, maybe. Am I clutching at straws, Jordan? Or are you sort of fearing the guys, the Beans brothers and the so-called non-international players have been off for 3 weeks, just training with the youth team? If anything, mate, I'd be looking at them players and going, well, you've been off for so long. You're not even in the international scene now. Maybe it's time for you to step up. The likes of Rashford, the likes of Lingard, if he gets that chance. Maybe it's their chance to actually say, I'm still here.
Yeah, listen, international form's got absolutely nothing to do with it. I get to watch Dan James for Wales every international, and he looks like prime Ronaldinho. It means absolutely nothing, mate. No.
Is he that good? Yeah.
Mate, for the red wall, he's incredible. Like, he's that guy. He is that guy. So, no, it means absolutely nothing. No, in short. But Jay always says the hope that kills you. I'm sat here today. I'm really looking forward to seeing us play on the weekend. I actually think we'll get something out of the game against Leicester. But come 5:30, I'll be sat here waiting for the therapy stand.
We get Holly, this Leicester game, looking at it, I think Leicester have got a few injuries. It looks like we're going to have Varane back. Obviously, Cavani, I've given up on Cavani anyway, but he picked up another injury for Uruguay. We're probably not going to see Fred or Cavani in this game, but we've got enough there to beat this Leicester team, surely. I mean, Varane is fit, which is a good sign. Hopefully that is true. I mean, how are you setting up there? I mean, Luke Shaw, is he coming back in? Is any players sort of breaking back into the team after this? Or do you think Ralph will go with what he did before the international break?
It's been
if
so
you can
long
remember
now.
that far back, actually, because it was that long ago.
It's been so long now that I think I'd rather him put Tellez and Dallo in the fullback positions, and then obviously I'd rather Maguire was still on Leicester's starting lineup, but we moved. He's playing for us, so I think he'll definitely start Maguire. There's no point even questioning that. Varane, thank God Varane is available, because it's bad enough Leicester probably know they can come to Old Trafford and probably grab a result, but knowing that we wouldn't have Varane, God knows what could happen. Probably a rerun of last time. I think he'll probably play McFred, I think, just to play it safe for the rest of the season. But where does when you do that, what happens to Pogba? Does he start Rashford? I don't think he can start Rashford. So hopefully Elanga gets in for Rashford. Sancho, I think, starts himself. You can't not start Sancho from the lineup, from the run up to before the international break. Apart from obviously the Atletico game, he was quite quiet. But before that, I thought Sancho's been brilliant. Probably one of the only positives we could take from some of the games. Bruno starts himself. Ronaldo starts himself. So the only real question is, where does he kind of put Paul Pogba and where does he play McFred?
Well, this is it, Jay. On Paul Pogba, this is a man that's come out yet again in an interview on international break saying that there's nothing left to play for this season. There's no trophies to play for. That, to me, sounds like he's sort of half given up. I mean, people would argue that he'd already given up anyway by not signing that contract when it was offered to him. But there's a player there, again, fit. What do you do with him? Are you one of them that's just going to say, look, you said what you said. You're sitting this one out, son. Sit on the bench. Or do you put Pogba in somewhere to try and change a game like he can do on his day?
Look, Adam, I firmly believe had China not stopped the world turning back in 2020, Pogba would be playing in Madrid now. He doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to be here in years. Yeah, we all know the season's over. We know that. Okay, yes, I agree. But to come out for a player to say it publicly, that then is the attitude that's festered in the training ground, it's festered in the changing room. And we know a lot of players checked out a long time ago. But you don't want to say it publicly. You know, you really don't. It's bad form for me. I'm the manager this weekend. No, I don't start him. Definitely not. I think Holly's correct. Ralph would probably go with the tried and tough security blanket on McFred. And I don't want to see Rashford near that starting lineup. I think Rashford has to fight his way back, see if there's any fight left in Rashford, and start him off the bench. And the rest of the season, Rashford's got to be an impact player. But Pogba, for me, Adam, and I'm probably going to get pelters now in the live chat, if he never plays for the club again, I'm not interested.
I mean, does anyone know if Fred has actually been playing over in Brazil on this international break? Is he going to be the one who's travelled the most and come back again? I mean, I know he was available for the Middlesbrough game and came on in, I think it was injury time, extra time, sorry, but be interesting because, like people have said in the comments there, Jordan, mate, you've got a fully rested, the one and only CDM at the football club in the Nemanja Matic. They have 3 weeks off. I mean, people say he can't play 2 games in a week. Well, I'm sure he can manage 1 in 4 weeks, can't he? He's ready to go.
He's had his knees on ice for 3 weeks. I'd give him a game. They're strong in the mid. Where's Jay gone? Is that enough for me?
I think he might be sorting that dog out.
Fred.
He's I'd start Matic. For me. The Leicester are strong in the midfield. We've got some great players in there that can cause us problems. We always know that when we come up against any team that's got a good engine room, we struggle. So for me, I'd definitely start Matic. You're right. I don't want to see Rashford start. I think he needs to be coming on 15, 20 minutes, make an impression, and then sort of build his way back into the team. I would start Shaw, though. And you're right, Jay. For me, if Pogba doesn't play for the rest of the season, we've got to learn to live without him. Let's start now.
Start now.
I agree with that.
Definitely. Yeah, you would keep him in. I mean, I looked at Alanga international week for him. Obviously, proud as punch to be making international appearances for Sweden off the bench. But I just look at the players there now and I go, unless you're really up for the fight, unless you're showing that you want to play, and Alanga shows it every single week when he comes on or if he starts the game, he's the one for me. I would set the precedent. I mean, Ralph knows he's going, so he's got no one to really try and sort of impress or try and win over. Just play the team that you want to play, Ralph. If you're listening, mate, just go with what you want to do, yeah? Don't worry about the board. If they don't send you upstairs, they're probably doing you a favour, mate, if anything. So just go for it. Teach these players a lesson. And then, I tell you what, I said it before, the likes of Rashford won't like sitting on the bench seeing another young youth player taking his position every single week. Maybe the penny will drop. Do you know what I mean? You've got all time when your career ends to do children's books, Marcus. No disrespect and credit to what you do off the pitch, mate. But the reason you're there in that position is because you're a footballer and you still are a professional footballer. So, you know what? it sounds horrible when I say it, but I don't see City, Liverpool, Chelsea players doing all this stuff off the pitch. I just see them playing football and concentrating on the bread and butter. And as soon as he realises, I mean, Jay, you're probably quite happy with how Wayne Rooney put the Marcus Rashford situation the other day. Take your head out your ass, mate, and go and break that United record, because you can do. You had the capabilities before. You've shown us why you're in the United team. Just go and rediscover yourself and start concentrating on your football again.
Yeah, look, I almost had massive respect for Wayne Rooney, apart from when he was having his little flirtation with Man City. But I think that was more so to have a little argument with Ferguson regarding, listen, Alex, who are we signing? Let's push on here. And that was the time where the Glazers didn't spend money. That's the bigger picture. But someone like Rooney, you have to respect, born winner, huge talent. He wasn't called the White Pele for anything. And you know what? A few games for Rashford sitting on the bench watching Elanga might actually motivate Rashford that, I've got a World Cup potentially coming up next season. If I'm not performing, Southgate ain't going to pick me. So I think the best thing for Rashford, and I agree with every one of you, is 10, 15 minutes off the bench, because right now, that's all he's worth. And to your point, you're probably going to get pelted in the comments, but he's going to have plenty of time when he hangs up his boots to write children's books and do whatever the hell he wants off the pitch. Your career is short. Focus in here now, Marcus, and that's your football.
Exactly that.
Yeah, but the thing is, sorry, just on that, I think, I don't for 1 second imagine Rashford sat in his bedroom with a biro writing out, recreating Humpty Dumpty. But it's people around.
I didn't know you were going to bring up Humpty Dumpty out of all of them.
No, but I can't imagine that is the situation. But your bread and butter is playing football. You've got to be delivering on the pitch. And if you've got, a marketing team around you and creating this brand, put them on ice. I remember reading something about, this is completely off subject, but about Conor McGregor. He had lined up that he was going to be in like The Expendables or some film, a big film. And he lost to Nate Diaz. And he pulled out of the film. And it cost him, millions for being in that film. He pulled out. Because fighting is his bread and butter, and that's what it was about. It was about winning, and he wanted to work towards the rematch. I don't see that same desire and commitment from someone like Marcus Rashford at the moment when it comes to football. I just don't.
No, his PR team as well has got to be the most annoying PR team that there is. Like, it's like 10 minutes after a game when we've just lost these tweets, like they're tweeting about his new book, and you have to take it. First and foremost, he is where he is because of his football talent. You need to take that into consideration. He plays for the biggest club in the world. You need to put that to the side for 24 hours or 48 hours even. God forbid they don't post something about the book or like the schools or something that he's helping. I know I would never like play down what he's done for the schools and stuff, but he is a footballer. And I'm not saying...
You're spot on. The key to PR is the PR should read the room. Read the room. They read the room. Like the club does not read the room. Like we've lost so many games now. I can't pick one out. But 2 days later, we get the winning team pictures. And as you said, Holly, after a loss, his PR team are flogging out tweets about a book or charity work, whatever. It's PR. Read the room. Look at the bigger picture. Okay, your strategy is to get X amount of copies sold. But bloody hell, read the room. It's not rocket science.
You have got a great point in terms of the PR there, because it's like the incident outside the game with the kids that were with their parents while Marcus Rashford was offering someone to go out in the car park. Do you know what I mean? It's like Marcus Rashford is who he is. That's the man. He's a frustrated footballer because he's lost his form. That's who Rashford is. His PR is turning him into someone that the fan base is sort of turning against at the moment because of everything else that's going on. And then Rashford inadvertently comes out with that, and they've apologised for it. But that's what a young footballer is. I'd expect that more. But what they're doing off the pitch as well isn't helping Marcus Rashford one bit when these circumstances come around.
Yeah. Shouldn't apologise for being who he is.
It's here. He's angry. He's upset. Yeah, I expect that. I do. I mean, obviously, you've got to be able to handle it. You've got to be able to understand that criticism's coming your way when you're losing. But everything else that's gone on, they've built him up into this big name off the pitch that when anything happens, it's going to be headline news, unlike it was like it was.
And you just don't buy anything he says anymore. Like, you see the big write-ups in his note pages and stuff, and because he's so disconnected from his social media, I don't believe any of it. I don't believe any of that is his words. I just think that's all just what his PR team wants him to look like and how they want him to come across. I think the real Rashford lost his head a few weeks ago when that video came out, and they are then losing their mind because they're like, we painted this lovely picture of you, Rashford, and now we have to pick up the pieces again. We want to see the real Rashford.
Yeah,
Holly, you're spot on. Anybody that believes those words that come out from Rashford are his own words is very, very naive at best, or stupid, either or.
Yeah. Well, we're pretty much near the end of the show. All that's left to do is throw some score predictions into the hats. I feel like I've not done a score prediction for ages. Jordan, I'm starting with you, mate. United Leicester, 5:30 kickoff, Premier League this Saturday. What are you going with, mate? How do you see this one?
My concern is that they're very strong in the midfield, where I feel they're very weak at the midfield. I'm going to go for a 2-2 tomorrow. No, it's not even tomorrow, Saturday.
He's going for the Desmond. Jay, how do you see it going, mate?
Talk about a man being on the same page as me. I was thinking 2-2 as well, by virtue of Harry's going to start, so we're definitely going to concede. So I'm going 2-2 also.
There's Desmonds everywhere, Holly. What's going on? How are you seeing this one?
Well, I usually always predict Man United to win, so maybe I should revert from that. But I am still going to go for a winner. I'm still going to say 2-0.
2-0 to United. Oh,
clean sheet, yeah, but Hull?
A clean sheet.
But Maguire starts, Holly. How's that possible?
Don't listen to him, Holly. Don't buckle under the pressure.
Might be 2-0 the other way around, actually.
I do you know what? I can see this being very similar to how the first game went. Both defenses, I mean, Leicester's defense is appalling. So United have to score in this game. I see them being a few goals. I think 3-1 either way, but I thought this is a game, looking at the fixtures ahead, I think United have to win because I know what's coming up. I'm going to go 3-1 United, believe it or not. I just feel like there's goals in this.
That 3-week gap has got you in your feelings. Nah.
No, it's not, mate, because I don't fancy us against Everton. And then I think we'll beat Norwich. And then we've got the dreaded Arsenal-Liverpool away double-header week. And that's when I think the season will be finished, personally. Still won't be enough to get top four, in my opinion. But when you've got Bruno on form, Ronaldo, I just feel like with Leicester's defence being so crap, I think the match winners will come to the fore. It won't be pretty, but I think there will be goals in it. Just
Harry Maguire to score a header.
Oh, God.
Clip it up.
Yeah.
That's
and
the
we'll
one.
celebrate
That's
it on the fan forum on Saturday.
Guys, that is it. Cheers for tuning in, everybody. It's been a happy show because I know we've got football coming back up at weekends, and we've actually got something to dissect. Interesting to see how the players turn up after international week. But Jordan, cheers for coming on, mate, as always.
Always a pleasure to see you on Saturday.
Yep. Jay, thanks for coming on, my man.
Pleasure. See you Saturday. Have a good evening.
Yes, and Holly, as always, cheers for coming on, and hopefully you have a pleasant weekend as well.
Thanks, guys. Really enjoyed it again. Guys, do hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to United Stand, bottom right-hand corner there. Share the video as well. We will all be back over the weekend. It's going to be an interesting one. But until then, we will see you later, everyone. Bye-bye.